Oh, didn't see you there. Um, Before we begin this video, I just want to point something out. Some of the voice lines that I recorded about 2 weeks ago are kind of ass. So bear that in mind. I think the quality goes up a little bit by the end of the video. Maybe not. Hey, I don't know. Next video will be better, I promise. Kind of. I don't want to promise, because if I can't uphold that promise, you know, enjoy the video anyway. Sorry. Hey. Bye. Hey.
This is the tale of Vaken Scuffed's adventure in Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah. Okay, narrator. Whatever you say. So, it all began with me tripping balls and floating in the void, when all of a sudden I start descending into some invisible water. I then stare directly into the sun for some reason, and my guy starts walking towards the sun. This is where I'm then hit by a respawn, and this guy appears out of thin air, and he's like, real anime-like, he's like looking down, and I was like, you know, and my guy is just staring at him, and he's like, oh, okay, this is kind of weird, I guess, and then I hear a voice that says, hear, feel, think. This is where I then spot the fucking golden snitch from Harry Potter, and all of a sudden I become like a big-ass Super Saiyan or something. I don't know what's happening, and then my guy turns into Michael Jackson for some reason with high heels, and yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyway, it would seem that the guy standing in front of me is not impressed at all, so I proceed to draw my bow, and he's like, what the fuck, this is kind of intimidating actually. So he puts on a red mask or something. My guy is like, wow, that's a red mask. Okay, so he proceeds to shoot him, and then all of a sudden I'm hit by a flashbang. And this is where the effect of the mushroom falls off, and I hear the sound of,
hey, you're finally awake.
and I'm like, yeah, dude, whatever, wrong game. And then hear a sound that's like, I'm like, what the hell? What's going on here? This plushie guy then proceeds to tell me that I'm not normal because I can see them. More about those twins later. The plushie then tells me that this is a dodgy neighborhood and that there's a suspicious guy walking around, and he's like, have you seen that guy? And I'm like, no. And he's like, okay, see you later, bro. And I'm like, okay, bye. Dude in the caravan, he's like, I want what this guy is having. And then he just downs his bottle. He then talks about the twins sitting in front of me. He's like, these guys don't like to talk much, which later down the road will prove to be a lie, because they talk a lot. Anyway, he asked me why I became an adventurer, and I'm like, bro, to gain power? And he's like, oh, yeah, that's kind of badass. We're then once again interrupted by this dude who looks like a clown, and he's like, yo, dude, you should not go here. The roads are dangerous. Then all of a sudden, there's a war breaking loose in front of us, and he's like, yo, get the hell out of here. And I'm like, okay, say less. Bremen then tells me that this is where we part ways. That's the guy from the caravan, by the way. And he's like, walk over there. And that's the city. And I'm like, okay, shit, cool. And I'm hit by a title drop. So after I'm hit with the title drop, I'm arriving at the city, and this guy is like, yo, man, hello, over here. You see me? And I'm like, what the fuck? Who's calling me? I'm like, brother, why are you whispering? Anyway, I cannot be bothered to be in a shouting match with this guy, so I walk over to him and I'm like, yo, bro, I'm new to the city. And he's like, yeah, I can see that. And I'm like, wow, there's bound to be like 1,000 people in this city. And he's like, yeah, but I see people. And I'm like, okay, sure. And he's like, now that you're new to the city, maybe you want to walk up to the inn and talk to Mother? And I'm like, who the fuck is Mother? Is that her first name, or is that your mother? It's like, no, it's actually her name. I'm like, okay, that's kind of a weird name. So it would actually turn out that this guy doesn't have mommy issues or whatever. Her name is actually Mother Mion. Anyway, she gives me a backstory of the city, and then she tells me to go interact with this crystal when I'm rudely interrupted by some dude who gives me a backstory of the crystals. And then I proceed to explore the marketplace, where a guy talks about the different stalls or whatever. Spoiler, never gonna return here again, unless I visit the market board, of course. She actually also helps me visiting the Archer's Guild, so I do that, but that's not a part of the main story, so I'm not even gonna go into that. Anyway, I return to Mother Mion, and she's like, yeah, you did this pretty quickly, so I don't even have a task for you to do right now, so why don't you do your Archer's Guild quest? And I'm like, sure, I can kill some ladybugs and squirrels. So I kill everything in the forest. Like, I go on a murder rampage right here. And then I return to Mother Mion. She then asks me, did you visit Bannock on your wanderings? And I'm like, no, I did not. She's like, okay, talk to Garfrick when you get there. And he's like, I don't want to talk to you. You're not even wearing an eye patch. So I had to go get myself an eye patch. So I went on a murder spree to kill some monkeys over at the other side of the forest or whatever. Because I knew from the quest that I do for my archery skill, they would actually give me an eye patch. So they fell hand in hand there. Pretty handy if you ask me. Anyway, I found this big ass mountain and I took the high ground so I could kill all these monkeys down here. And when I completed that quest, I returned to Galfred and he's like, my man, you got an eye patch? And I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I do. And then it was like, yo, listen close, my man. You need to go up to like a forest thingy, and there's supposed to be like a suspicious dude up there. And I'm like, okay, sure, I can go up there. And then I found like a big ass sword stuck in a stump. And I proceed to interact with that shit, and then I was approached by a tall, slender woman with a stupid mask and a potato and a dress, and one of those white flying plushies. And then she asked me if I'm the suspicious guy they've been looking for, and the plushie then responds and says, nah, this guy's just a lumberjack. We're then ambushed by a big walking tree, and I get to prove myself that I'm the best man in the woods at cutting wood, and they're like, nope, not today. And we all begin to chop down the same tree, and they just wanted to steal my thunder, I guess. Anyway, the tree fell, and they're super impressed by me by being like the best woodcutter in the wood, I guess, because they are all out of breath and shit, but I'm not. The tree drops a crystal, which I then proceed to ninja, and they're like, what? We should have rolled on that shit. And then the game proceeds to tell me that you need to collect like 6 of these crystals or something. I don't really know what's going on. I must have breathed in some spores or something, because all of a sudden I see like a vision of the past or the future. I'm not really sure what's going on here. I'm then approached by this little crystal ball or spire, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird. And she's like, sup, B? My name is Heidelin. And if you do some shit, the crystals will reveal themselves to the... That's actually what she says. Well, not the shit part, but by your creed. I then woke up from a nap. I don't know. This tree shopping business must have been very much harder on me than I would have expected, I guess, because I fell asleep. These guys are very angry because I ninja'd that crystal from them, and they're like, this is where we part ways. Just look at her. She actually wants to kill me. Look at that wave. I returned to Galfred, and Galfred is like very happy that I was able to chop down that tree. Some of his men spotted me when I was out there. They're like, yeah, that's the best lumberjack in the city. Due to me being the best lumberjack in the forest, he now wants me to run around and do everybody's tasks. I don't know why, but yeah, this is an MMO after all, so we have to do a lot of filler stuff. So now a segment with a lot of filler happens until I return to a woman called Pauline. Now, Pauline is also filler, however, she has a weird request. She's like, I hesitate to ask you this, but could you go to a place called the Naked Rock and kill some anals? And I'm like, yeah, say less. And there must be some kind of like accent or something there, because when I arrive at this place, I'm greeted by a weird looking kind of raptors and shit, and I'm like, oh man, this is not what I signed up for. Anyway, I loot this egg as well, and I return to her, and she's like, oh nice, you actually managed to do it. Return this egg to someone else. So I return this egg to some woman named Sub. I'm like, Amazon delivery. She's like, I did not order anything. And she takes the egg anyway. Galfred then hears me talking to this woman, and he's like, listen, man, we don't have much time. Something weird is happening at this place. Can you go check it out? I give him a thumbs up, and then I run to this guy called Athelstan or something, Alistan, I don't know. And he's like, yeah, proceed inside these gates, and you'll find whatever you're looking for. I then talk to this mage, and this mage is like, there's a big rock monster somewhere. I don't know where it's hiding. This is where I then hear a voice in the darkness. It's like, oh, mournful voice of creation, grant thee humble stone a soul that in way may wake to life or something. And this big ass rock monster just appears out of nowhere, and I'm like, yeah, this is my time to shine. Time to prove to everybody that I'm not just the best lumberjack in the forest, that I'm also the best miner. That's what happened. I actually got to prove myself that I'm the best miner, because after having mined that stone, the potato in a dress and the tall woman with the stupid mask appears again. They're trying to steal my thunder all the time. They're like, we heard you had some issues with some mining, and I'm like, no, you can see the big ass rubble over there. I actually managed to do it myself. After telling them that, my character gets NAM flashbacks, but they're not my NAM flashbacks, they're actually theirs. All I see in this flashback is that they're arguing. I then get my bearings, and they're like, what happened? Do you have a headache? You good, bro? I don't know if I tell them what happened or not. My character doesn't speak this far. This potato sack is all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I forgot. My name is Papalimo. And the woman in the stupid mask is like, Ida. Still seem a bit salty over me stealing that crystal. So they're like, this is where we part ways again. My guys just stood there wondering what the hell just happened. Then return to Athelstan or Alistan. I don't know. I tell him what happened inside the cave, and he's like, all this happened inside that cave? That's kind of weird. He's like, maybe you should tell someone who cares. So I return to Mother Mion, because I know she cares. And then all of a sudden, she's like,
word around the office is you've got a fat cock.
and I'm like, that's kind of inappropriate, don't you think? She's like, yeah, but now you can sleep here. Which is kind of cool, I guess. She then begins to psych me up, and she's like, you're my favorite adventurer. Could you run to Keltha or I don't know. And I almost forgot for a second there that I'm playing an MMO, so this is where the game has me do a lot of filler shit. So after the filler, we get a lead on where our perpetrator in black might be. Maybe you could check out that campfire over there. Someone made camp there a few days ago. So I go there, I loot that bag, I return to Rosaline, and Rosaline is like, okay, this is weird. And then she says, why would a traveler make camp there? Like the traveler I am, I accept that quest from her. She's like, hey bro, do you want to talk to some of the guards stationed around the forest? Maybe they can confirm our suspicions? No? Okay. So I bring some letters to some guards standing around in the forest. And then I end up by a guy called Elgar, and he's like, yeah, this is kind of weird, bro. I saw some weird birds. You mind killing them for me? They're kind of weird, man. Kill them, please. And I'm like, okay, sure, I'll do it. So I murdered these birds, and then this guy starts talking about refugees and shit. I don't know, this guy's kind of weird. Well, he does mean the birds, though. This guy then tasked me to go to talk to some hero Leone, and because she missed some boat or something. But before I talked to her, I saw this big-ass flower that I had to kill before in front of her, just to get some scare tactic into her and remind her that if you miss this boat again, you'll miss your life. And then she's all scared, and she's like, oh yeah, a boat, I forgot. Could you go down and talk to this woman by the docks? So I do that. I talk to this woman by the docks, and she's like, I was supposed to get a package delivery from Amazon. Can you check it out? Which I do, and then I'm ambushed by a big-ass frog. I kill the frog, and then I return the package to someone else. I don't know if this is theft or something, but just like, thank you for stealing that package from me. I hear a scream from the stables. I run there. He's like, egg. Lancelot then asked me if I could go around the city and ask people if they have seen someone steal the egg, and the guards, they're like, yeah, we saw someone with the egg. And they're just like, bro, why didn't you stop him? You had one job. Then return with the information to Lancelot, and he's like, yep, there can be no mistake. The egg was stolen. So like the adventurer I am, I track down the egg, I talk to a couple. And then this guy ambushes us, and we kill him because this is all in the name of justice, you know? He stole an egg, so a life for an egg, I guess. Actually, it was couple who tracked down the egg. But then we return the egg to Lancelot, and he begins to shine my shoes for some reason. I don't know. He's kind of weird. He's extremely happy with my services and writes a review. He's like, 10 out of 10 would use again. And I'm just happy to be of service, you know? So this is where today's story ends. This video includes a lot of filler still. I removed a lot of it, but I was not about to just recut the whole video and re-record every voice line so that it fits the story better. If you enjoyed this video, then maybe you could like the video, maybe? I don't know. Subscribe. You can check me out live on Twitch every day between 1 p.m. CET to 8 p.m. CET. Of course, that time zone didn't change there, but yeah, you understand, right? Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate that shit. Love you.